What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with my NFL awards for the 2021 NFL season. This is my opinion on who should win every award in the NFL this season from this past 2021 regular season. Of course, the season awards are dependent on regular season performance. They don't have anything to do with the playoffs. Unfortunately, I wish there were an MVP for the playoffs or awards for the playoffs in general, because I do think postseason performance needs to be recognized more across the NFL, but that's a side rant. These are my regular season awards for this 2021-2022 NFL season. So before I give you every award, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV NFL videos just like this. Also, get in that comment section and let me know who wins your awards. Your opinion. Don't give me who you think is going to win the award. Give me who you think should win every award this season. Let's kick off the prestigious BLV NFL awards for 2021 with the rookies. The offensive rookie of the year for me is Ja'Marr Chase. Really, this comes down to three different candidates, and I believe Ja'Marr Chase has set himself apart from these two other players. You've got Najee Harris, the running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and my guy Mac Jones. Unfortunately, Mac is going to have to take a backseat to a historic wide receiver season from Ja'Marr Chase. I think the game that really solidified it for me was that Kansas City Chiefs performance late in the regular season, where they were able to secure the AFC North, win the AFC North, and get a home game in the playoffs through Ja'Marr Chase having simply one of the greatest wide receiver games I have ever witnessed. Ja'Marr Chase has everything in his game that it takes to become a legendary wide receiver. He can break a game open with a single play, through after the catch, running after the catch, or making a play down the field in contested coverage. Ja'Marr Chase, as a rookie, stood out in a way that I haven't really seen since Randy Moss. And I understand that we've had Odell Beckham Jr. and we've had Justin Jefferson, a couple others with iconic rookie seasons, but they were in different ways. This year by Ja'Marr Chase, I saw so many amazing plays when the ball was in the air, deep down the field. He separated from defenders. He made these incredible grabs. He is somebody that is going to change the way defenses play Cincinnati for years to come. I believe he was the biggest game changer of any rookie. Just look, his team is now in the Super Bowl. Just to say that they made the playoffs in general for the Bengals is impressive, because I didn't think it would happen. And that is really because of Ja'Marr Chase's impact on this offense and on Joe Burrow. And I just believe this guy is going to be so special for so many years. So give him this rookie of the year. He fully deserves it. The defensive rookie of the year for me is, of course, the obvious pick here. It's Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. I can't really go anywhere else with this one. What impressed me so much about Parsons was I understood his versatility coming out of college. I was a big fan of it, but I didn't quite understand how it would translate to the NFL and how soon it would translate to the NFL. But he was so special immediately in his first action as an edge rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, picking up sacks, having dominating performances. That very first game, I believe it was against the Chargers, where he stood out as an edge rusher because DeMarcus Lawrence was hurt. They were missing a couple players. Randy Gregory was out, so he had to step up into that spot. And not just as a middle linebacker or a sideline to sideline linebacker did he show his skill set against the run, and also at times in coverage, but also just as a pure pass rusher, being able to get to the quarterback, cause a panic for the quarterback, and make plays behind the line of scrimmage at such an incredible rate. He shows such athleticism. He is one of the most explosive athletes in all of football already, and this kid is absolutely a special player. I believe he is a foundational NFL defensive piece. And that is a big thing to say because there are not many in this day and age where you can say you've got to pay that guy on the defensive side of the ball. But he is so versatile and also so skilled at both spots that it makes him extremely valuable. So I can't speak enough about his impact on the Cowboys and their turnaround defensively. Parsons is the pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now we go to Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year really looked like it was going to be Dak Prescott's award for the beginning of the season and the offseason hype. And of course, Hard Knocks, it kind of all flowed into Dak Prescott winning this award. But I really think it's Joe Burrow's without a doubt. Joe Burrow had really a shorter timeline to get back to the Bengals than Dak Prescott did. Quickly recovered, and really we saw no shortage of improvement from Joe Burrow from his rookie season. We saw no shortage of elite quarterback play, especially towards the end of the year. Once he started to get it going, once he started clicking with Chase and company on offense, and Zach Taylor was calling the right plays, and they were putting the ball in Joe Burrow's hands to win these games, the guy was absolutely phenomenal game in and game out at carrying his football team. And that's why I believe he also belongs in the MVP conversation. But Joe Burrow's ability to maneuver with a lackluster offensive line, be able to get the ball to his elite receivers, and be able to win shootouts and beat the best teams in football consistently at the end of games, his leadership, his confidence, it's absolutely fundamental to the Bengals' success this year, and that's why he is the Comeback Player of the Year. The Executive of the Year award. Let's go to the front office. I believe these guys need more credit, and we need to know who these people are because they are so important. The foundation of an organization in dictating how good and strong a roster is and where the strengths and weaknesses lie in a team and really dictating the future of football. And to me, the Executive of the Year award, when I look at a season, how do I decide which executive made the biggest impact on the future of the NFL? And to me, that's Les Snead of the Los Angeles Rams. His ability to trade for Matthew Stafford, get Matthew Stafford, and I'd also like to credit Sean McVay for this, talking Matthew Stafford into the Rams and their organization and their culture. That was so big. Huge. Absolutely huge. It took the Rams from a team that was strong on defense, that was kind of carrying a lackluster quarterback, and it made them a complete overall team into a Super Bowl contender, and they were a contender as soon as they traded for Matthew Stafford. So whenever you can go from a team that's good to a contending team, that is huge. But not only did he do that, he also brought in Odell Beckham Jr. and somewhat convinced him to play, or at least put the pieces in place for them to make that move. Of course, all the other moves leading up to this, like getting Jalen Ramsey, even picking up Sony Michel was a huge addition at running back, and then Von Miller on defense, even Eric Weddle in the playoffs. It's just so many moves that this guy has been able to do over the course of this year that has made the Rams a Super Bowl threat and a Super Bowl type team. So I just think that he has had the most impact on football because when every franchise looks at this season, they're going to say, why can't we be the Rams? Why can't we be that team that goes all in and gets our guy at quarterback and gets a couple additional veteran pieces to make this a real contender? And that is the biggest impact, and that's why I give Les Snead and the Rams this award. The Assistant Coach of the Year, in my opinion, was a very challenging one to name. I'm going to go with Dennis Allen of the New Orleans Saints, and this is why. The Saints were not a playoff team, but they were one game away from becoming a playoff team. That was with having 3 different starting quarterbacks throughout the season, having lackluster weapons on offense, really overall just having a below average offense that couldn't consistently move the ball or score points. The reason the Saints were a contending team, the reason the Saints were a competitive team is probably the better word, was because of their defense. And whenever I watch the Saints play defense, I feel like they have a great grasp on how to attack a certain offense. They beat my two teams, right? Tom Brady and the Bucs and the Patriots 3 times in this season. So I, for sure, know the impact of Dennis Allen and what his defenses were able to do. Every year and every week, it feels like they are well prepared. They put their players in the right positions to succeed. They consistently take below average players and place them in that defensive scheme to make them better players. On the defensive line, at linebacker, safety, corner, it doesn't really matter. Yes, they've got talented players there, but you looked at all the players that they lost, specifically depth-wise, that were hurt and then came back and all this stuff. And the Saints, they really had no flaws on defense. They were good versus the pass. They were good as a run defense. They could blitz you. They could rush you with 4. And I just feel like the Saints defense was really, really good, but it didn't get enough recognition because the team just wasn't that good. So I look at Dennis Allen in a year that maybe there's not a real strong candidate for this award, and personally, I would give him this award. My coach of the year for 2021 is Mike Vrabel. I can't even really believe that I am saying this in the year 2022, that Mike Vrabel is the coach of the year. Not because he's not a great coach, don't get me wrong, but I grew up watching Mike Vrabel as a linebacker on my favorite team. I never really thought Mike Vrabel would become a coach in the NFL. I never really thought he would become a great coach in the NFL, but that's exactly what he is, and he's proven his consistency in his years with the Titans, and I think this was his best year ever. And this is why. Offensively, he lost Arthur Smith, who was pretty much a head coach to his offense. He lost that coach. Their offense lost a lot of creativity. Obviously, talent was an issue for them on offense. A.J. Brown was hurt. Derrick Henry got hurt. Offensive line was banged up. Tannehill was inconsistent. They had to deal with a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Vrabel is a linebacker, former linebacker. He is a defensive guy. His defense got better this year. He drastically improved that unit. I felt they were always well coached and had great game plans week in and week out. They gave their team a chance week in and week out. He clearly gives a confidence, a mentality, and a culture to the Tennessee Titans that I don't think can be quite quantified. But Mike Vrabel is an excellent leader, an excellent man's man, and an excellent leader of men. And what he did with this roster, with all of the injuries and all of the different starters and players that were in and out of the lineup, I think deserves a lot of respect and deserves this award. For getting the #1 seed in the AFC with this team, that deserves an award. The next award is the Offensive Player of the Year. And I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. The Offensive Player of the Year award, I kind of look at a little bit as like the Fantasy Player of the Year award, but in combination with like his actual real life impact. And I feel like Cooper Kupp, what he did this year, leading the NFL in all 3 important categories, being a historic season that it was for Cooper Kupp, the impact he had on the transition for Matthew Stafford, becoming his new Calvin Johnson, so to speak, but in such a different way, and how he consistently made plays in the red zone, on 3rd down, making big plays after catch. I never, ever thought, and I will own up to this, I never thought Cooper Kupp would ever be this good. Don't get me twisted, but I have grown to respect his game a ton. His route running is some of the best in football. His body language, I think, is the best in football in terms of the body language he both gives a defensive back and a quarterback. His ability just to get open and make plays after the catch. I'm so shocked every time I watch him by his balance and being able to maintain balance consistently while getting tackled or getting hit or just keeping his feet moving. He's so good. His hands are consistent, and he's just a MVP for his team. So Cooper Kupp, he's not a quarterback. He's not going to win the MVP. But the Offensive Player of the Year, I look at the best receiver or the best running back in a given year or the best tight end, and I think that was Cooper Kupp. The Defensive Player of the Year, I look at this award a little bit this season as a little bit of a career achievement award because TJ Watt, quite honestly, has deserved this award at least once in his career already, and he hasn't been able to get it, partly because of how amazing Aaron Donald is. But this season, TJ Watt went above and beyond even Aaron Donald's impact on the defensive side of the football. TJ Watt, with that sack record, absolutely incredible what he was able to do this season. with a team that offensively lacked any sort of firepower. Big Ben just wasn't the same player. He rose up. He had an incredible impact with his defense, and when he was on the field, when he was off the field, we saw a different Steelers team and Steelers defense. We saw a guy that could change the game in any given play, and that's what I look at on defense nowadays. It's not really, you can't really slow down offenses to the capacity of you could in the 80s, 90s, even the 2000s. Nowadays, it's about those big game-changing plays, and nobody makes more than TJ Watt. Such a great player in all facets of what he does. Rushing the passer, defending the run, even dropping into coverage. He is an all-around complete edge player and the best in football. My MVP might be my most controversial pick out there because I know the consensus probably suggests it should be Aaron Rodgers. But you guys know that I am on the Tom Brady train, and it's not just because Tom Brady is the GOAT. He just retired, and he's my favorite player of all time. But it also has to do with the fact that he was the most valuable player this season. We look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they were dealing with all season long. They dealt with numerous injuries on defense, numerous injuries on offense, and really inconsistencies from the coaching staff all year long. They took the most penalties in the league through about 10 weeks, and then they sort of figured that out. I believe that their consistency as a football team really comes down to one man and one man only, and that is Tom Brady. You look at the stats from Tom Brady versus the best defenses in football. No quarterback was better against the elite defenses. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers rarely ever faced elite defenses this season. And on top of all of that, Tom Brady graded better than Aaron Rodgers this year. He led all statistics this season, whether you're talking about attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns. It doesn't really matter. Tom Brady did it. And the thing that I look at above all else, which quarterback was relied on the most to win games for his team? And when you look at Tom Brady and what he was able to do in games where he throws the ball 40 plus times, he was spectacular. He carried this football team this season. And I believe he had one of his best seasons of his career in his final season, throwing for over 40 touchdowns, throwing for over 5,000 yards. He was the best quarterback in the NFL, and that's why he deserves the Most Valuable Player award. My NFL awards for the 2021 NFL season. Let me know in the comments your award winners for this season. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Gronk, spike that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of Super Bowl week and the Super Bowl content on the channel. Peace.